Hello D&D people of the internet, it is me, Max from Maximus Miniature, back with another video, and holy cow, it's been a long week. A lot of filming. You see, today's video is all about classes in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Now, it's supposed to be just one nice long video, only about half an hour's worth of me rambling on about all the 13 official classes and the 2 unofficial classes. No, it didn't turn into that. Pretty much, I went to go slap it all together and quickly found out that my film footage was over an hour long. And after the realization that, hey, no one's gonna watch an hour's worth of me rambling about Dungeons and Dragons, I decided to chop it into 4 neat little pieces. So, here we go with discussing combat classes. Now, kind of recognized but not official amongst the D&D community is that there's different types of classes. Classes that fill specific roles in the party. Combat classes are classes who are up front and center, fighting to keep the ranged attackers safe. That's what you do. You pick up a weapon and you stab things. Spellcasters cast spells. You're usually AoE or ranged damage, standing far in the back to take out enemies from a distance. Support classes are also all spellcasters, but their spells and abilities mainly center around saving their friend's hide, healing hit points, buffing them, so on and so forth. And mixture classes can do a little bit of everything, depending on how you choose to play them. So, let's get to it with combat classes in today's video. Howdy y'all, I am Bartholomew Barbarian, and today I'm gonna tell you all about barbarians. Barbarians are the rage-filled psychopaths of Dungeons and Dragons that go into the battlefield wielding a giant battle axe and screaming. Our hit die is a D12, which means we have the most HP of all Dungeons and Dragons characters, and it's nice, because this funky little 12-sided math rock gets about as much use as the javelins that barbarians are given in their starting equipment. Trust me, you're gonna get them, but you're never gonna use them. Our main ability is Rage, the ability to enter a bloodthirsty killing mode in which we deal extra damage. And we're all around stronger and harder to kill. Then we have our Capstone ability, which is Primal Champion. Capstone means level 20. Primal Champion gives us a +4 in both our Constitution and our Strength skills. All around, pretty great. It also buffs us from a 20 in Strength and Constitution as our max, all the way to a 24. Our subclasses, known as Primal Paths, are the Berserker. First off, the Berserker is a warrior who, it's the basic barbarian that's just barbarian, but improved. But Berserker's bad. Never Berserker, no. Don't play Berserker. Berserker allows you to attack twice as bonus action while rage. But you get a level of exhaustion, which is the worst debuff in the whole game. Berserker bad. Totem Warrior gives you magical powers dependent upon which spirit animal you have. The Battle Rager is a dwarf-only cool kids club that gives you the powers of wearing spiky armor and then giving someone a hug right after you stab them with an axe. The Ancestral Guardian lets you summon dead Uncle Billy Joe to fight with you in battle. The Storm Herald lets you shoot lightning out of your chest whenever you're raging. The Zealot makes you an almost cleric. You worship a god and you're really hard to kill. The Beast gives you magical animal powers. You get a tail, or you get claws, or you get a mouth to bite things while in battle. And the Wild Magic gives you the ability to send a burst of magical energy while raging. Overall, barbarians are designed to be tanky pieces of destructive power that go onto the battlefield, taking hits for the squishy spellcasters behind them while dealing lots of damage. Who are you? What are you doing in my house? How did you... Oh, of course. You're here for the video. Max told me about you. I am Fredrickson, and I am a fighter. Fighters are warriors in Dungeons and Dragons, and we are the most basic, yet versatile concept of any class. Our hit die is a d10, not nearly as powerful as the Barbarian, seeing as the Barbarian is the only d12, but still enough to hold our ground on a battlefield. Our main ability is extra attack. Yes, other combat-based classes and some non-combat-based classes do get an extra attack, but we center on it. We are the only ones that get a total of more than one extra. Our capstone ability is extra attack. Yet again, our capstone ability, in other words our level 20 ability, is just another attack, totaling up for a total of 4 attacks as we level up. Then our subclasses. Our subclasses are most of our versatility. See, most of our main class abilities don't have a lot of depth to them. So we require our subclasses to give us depth. Battlemaster. You study the art of war. Rather than just seeing it as combat, you see it as a form of masterpiece. You study intricate maneuvers to give yourself advantage in battle. Champion. It's the basic archetypical fighter but better. You just get improvements to your abilities along with a couple extra nifty things. Eldritch Knight. You study wizardry and you study combat. As an Eldritch Knight, you get some wizard spells along with the ability to replace your extra attacks with wizard spells. Banneret. Whenever you use certain abilities that a fighter is given, you give benefits to your opponents too. A very good support class. Arcane Archer. You are skilled with a bow and shoot magical arrows with differing effects depending on which school of magic each arrow is. Cavalier. You ride a horse. Samurai. The samurai are a charismatic kind of warrior. They could just be the Eastern stereotype, or you can make them a warrior who brings their charismatic presence in social encounters into the battlefield, giving them advantage above their opponents. The Echo Knight is intriguing. They are from Wildemount, and they summon living shadows, or practically living shadows, who fight alongside them in battle. Neat. The Psy Warrior is a psychic, someone who uses their psychic capabilities and their mastery of combat in tandem to give them advantage. And the Rune Knight is the last one. The Rune Knight harnesses the powers of giants by using rune magic to infuse their strikes with immensely powerful strength. The Fighter is all around designed to be similar to the Barbarian in the sense that you are the front line protection between the ranged classes and the enemies. Your job is to stop the squishy spellcasters from getting crushed by the goblins' multiple clubs. Your job is to stand in the way between the squishy spellcasters and the goblins. That's your purpose. Hello there. I am Mortimer, and I am a monk. Monks are a form of warrior in Dungeons and Dragons who, unlike fighters and barbarians and all manner of other combat-based classes, use their fists instead of weapons. I was trained at a monastery run by orcs when I was dropped off as an orphan child. After years upon years of training, mastering my inner self, I am out in the brave world to spread the word of my monastery. As a monk, you have a hit die of a d8. Now, while this may sound small compared to our previous forms of combat, a d8 is still very helpful. It's got a nice amount, not nearly as much as a 10 or a 12, but monks have many other preservation techniques rather than purely HP. Meaning, we don't need large dice like other classes do. Now, our main ability is Ki. Ki is the mystical life energy that binds all creatures together. Now, we can harness ki to do things like punch faster and run faster and give ourselves disease immunity and a dozen other effects. By harnessing ki, you are one of the most powerful forces in the world. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Our capstone ability is perfect self. Now, ki is not unlimited, just like spell slots. And once you use them, you have to take a rest in order to regain them. But at level 20, if you start combat and you are currently out of ki points, you gain more ki points. You just gain free ki points, which is really nice. Then, our subclasses. We have Way of the Four Elements. Now, Way of the Four Elements lets you control the four elements. Earth, air, fire, and water. Definitely not a reference to Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Open Hand is the monk, but better subclass. You punch things even better than normal. Shadow, you're a ninja. Long Death, you have learned how to grab the fabrics of reality and warp them to your will. The fabrics of life and death, that is. And by warping them, you can bring death upon others as you see fit. The Sun Soul lets you shoot beams of energy out of your hands. The Drunken Master, you learn how to use brewer's kits. And while most monks target the biggest thing on the battlefield, the Drunken Master is good at going for the little things and taking out a bunch of them at once. The Kensei uses weapons. Heathen. They pick up a sword and they just use it. The Astral Self has an astral visage of their being that they can project by spending ki points, who gives them an advantage in battle. However you want your astral visage to appear as, is up to you. And Mercy, similar to Long Death, you control the fabrics of life and death, but instead of harming your enemies, you are helping your friends. Monks serve a similar purpose, being that they are combat classes, to the Barbarian and the Fighter. We go and stand between the squishy spellcasters and the hordes of evil that we combat in order to protect them. And we jump around the battlefield while doing it with a really high armor class, because we're just innately smart. Can you believe this? The other combat classes think that the best way to kill their opponents is by standing right in front of them. No, no, no. The best way to kill your opponent is by sneaking up from behind and stabbing them in their weak spot. Who am I? Why, I am Ronald, the rogue. Rogues are a sneaky bunch. We slide around the shadows of the battlefield, only attacking when it's perfect. The perfect moments to deal the most amount of damage. Our hit die is a D8, just like the monk. We don't have the most amount of hit points, but we have enough to be benefactor on the battlefield. Now, we also do make up for our lack in HP with multiple inbuilt defenses. Our main ability is Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack sounds like you may need to run an ambush upon your target, but no. Sneak Attack can be activated with simply a friend nearby, or if you have advantage. Your capstone ability is Stroke of Luck. If you take an attack and miss your attack, then you can hit instead. Also, if you take an ability check, you can choose to roll a 20 if you don't roll a 20 already. Our subclasses are as follows. The Arcane Trickster is a magical class who uses magic to do all sorts of magic. They learn wizard spells, and they can use Mage Hand for more things than just pushing. The Assassin is particularly good with their sneak attack when it comes to killing things and dealing killing blows. The Thief is very good at stealing. The Thief and the Assassin are both the rogue but improved.
there is no particular one that is rogue, but improved, though you could make more arguments for assassin because it improves on rogue's main ability. The inquisitive is an investigator. They study people, they learn their motivations, and then they kill them with their weak spots. Picture Sherlock Holmes, but instead of having a pipe, you have throwing knives. The mastermind is a charismatic man or woman. You go and you use people's beliefs against them in order to cause political espionage and gather followers. The scout is a master of nature. You go into the wilds and learn about things, and with that knowledge you can help your friends in the wilderness. The swashbuckler, as it may sound, is a pirate. That's what you are. You are a pirate. The phantom collects the souls of those they have killed and uses those souls to help them in battle. And the soul knife has a psychic blade that they can stab with, using psionic powers to aid them in their espionage. Overall, the rogue is a Canadian trickster who is perfect, no matter what subclass you choose, at dealing killing blows with their sneak attack, and as such, fits into the combat group. So that was my guide to every single combat class in Dungeons & Dragons. If you sat through the entire thing watching me butcher multiple accents and take advantage of every single character class stereotype, thank you. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and maybe sharing with a couple friends, and possibly commenting about what you want to see in the future on this channel. As always, this has been Max from Maximus Miniature. I'll see you guys in the next video.